Welcome back to Red Mix Facts. Think about political science. Many people think of Europe, they might mention Machiavelli. He wrote The Prince, a famous book on power. This was around 1500 AD. But what if I told you India was way ahead, centuries ahead in fact? Imagine ancient India, a land of diverse kingdoms, a place of deep thinking, around 300 years BCE, this is long before Machiavelli, about 1800 years before. A scholar there thought deeply. He pondered power and rule. His ideas were groundbreaking. This scholar was Kautilya. He wrote a guide for rulers, a detailed, complex manual. It was called the Arthashastra. This book was not just theory, it was a practical guide. It helped build an empire, the mighty Mauryan Empire. So, did India master politics long before Europe did? The Arthashastra suggests it. This text is vast. It covers so many topics, from running a government to spying on enemies. Let us explore this ancient wisdom. It is a journey worth taking. Who was this Kautilya? His life is partly a mystery, a subject of many stories. He is also known as Chanakya, and sometimes as Vishnugupta. He was a brilliant teacher, a professor at Taxila, a famous ancient university. He knew many subjects. Kautilya was more than a scholar, he became a kingmaker. Legend says he was slighted by the ruling Nanda king. He vowed to replace him. He found a young man. Chandragupta Maurya was his name. Kautilya guided him, helped him build an army, and win a vast empire. The Arthashastra is his legacy. The title means the science of material gain, or the science of politics. It is a comprehensive work. Think of it as an encyclopedia, for kings and ministers. It tells how to govern, how to manage finances, how to conduct diplomacy. This book is not simple. It has 15 sections. It covers internal administration, law and justice systems, foreign policy and warfare, espionage and secret services. It shows a very organized mind. Kautilya thought of everything, to make a state strong and ensure its survival. Kautilya envisioned a strong state. The king was at the top, but the king was not a tyrant. He had many duties, to protect his people, to ensure their welfare. A good king worked hard. He was disciplined and just. The people's happiness was his. Under the king, a structure, a well-organized government. Think of many departments, each with specific tasks, like treasury, or public works, or trade, or intelligence. Officials ran these departments. They had clear responsibilities. This made things efficient. Corruption was a big concern. Kautilya knew human nature, he knew power could corrupt. So he suggested safeguards, strict rules for officials, regular audits of accounts, and a network of spies, to watch the watchers. Punishments were severe for cheats. The goal was good governance, a state that ran smoothly, where people felt secure, where prosperity could grow. The Arthashastra provided the blueprint for this kind of administration. It aimed for stability and the well-being of citizens. Order was paramount for Kautilya. A strong kingdom needs resources, it needs a healthy economy. Kautilya understood this very well. His Arthashastra is full of ideas about money, how to get it, how to manage it, how to make the state rich. A rich state is a strong state. Taxes were a key source. Kautilya described various taxes, on land and agriculture, on trade and commerce, on crafts and professions. But taxes should be fair, not too heavy for people, collected efficiently and honestly, so everyone contributes their share. The state also owned businesses. This was another way to earn. Kautilya suggested state monopolies over things like mines, producing salt or metals, forests and their products, even liquor production. These enterprises helped fill the royal treasury chest. Markets needed careful watching. The state had a role here, to ensure fair trade practices, to prevent hoarding of goods, to protect consumers from fraud. Weights and measures were standardized. Officials oversaw market activities. Kautilya wanted a vibrant economy, but one that was also just, and served the state's interests. Section 5. The Unseen Hand. Espionage and Information Warfare. Kautilya placed huge value on information. He knew that knowledge is a mighty weapon. He wrote extensively about spies, describing an intricate network of them. These spies worked as the king's eyes and ears, everywhere. This was vital for security and for effective ruling. These spies were not all alike. Kautilya described many types. Some were disguised as holy men, wandering ascetics or monks. Others posed as merchants or traders, some as artisans or entertainers, and even poisoners and courtesans. They blended into society, gathering secrets silently. What did these spies do? They collected intelligence about potential enemies outside, their plans and their weaknesses, but they also gathered information about people inside the kingdom. Were officials loyal and honest? Were there plots against the king? Was the public happy or discontented? No detail was too small. This information was crucial. It helped the king make decisions, informed choices about policy, about war and about peace. It helped prevent rebellions and uncover conspiracies early. Kautilya believed a king who was well-informed was a king who could survive and thrive in a complex world. Section 6, Might and Mind, Kautilya's Art of War. A kingdom needed protection. So, a strong military was key. Kautilya advised maintaining a large standing army. Soldiers should be well-paid, well-trained, and well-equipped, ready to fight at any time. The army had different parts: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. Each played a specific role. War was not just about brute force. It was also a game of wits. Kautilya emphasized strategy, using intelligence to plan, exploiting enemy weaknesses. He advised using psychological tactics to demoralize enemy troops, to create fear and confusion. Sometimes winning without a big battle was the smartest victory. Diplomacy was part of warfare. Kautilya discussed ways to handle other kingdoms. He listed 4 main approaches to use: Sama, conciliation or negotiation; Dana, giving gifts or making alliances; Beta, causing division among enemies; and Danda, using force or punishment. A wise ruler knew when to use each of these. The decision to go to war should not be taken lightly. Kautilya was a realist. He understood war's costs, in lives and in resources. So he advised kings to consider all options. If goals could be achieved through peace, that was better. War was the last resort, but one must always be ready. Section 7. The Dance of Nations, Foreign Policy, and the Rajamandala. How should a king deal with neighboring kingdoms? This was a big question. Kautilya offered a framework, a theory for foreign policy. It is called the Rajamandala. This means circle of states. It is a way to understand the complex web of relationships between different rulers. Imagine your kingdom is at the center of this circle. Your immediate neighbors are likely to be your natural enemies, or at least, potential rivals. This is because you share borders and compete for resources. This is a core idea. The ally or enemy state is usually the one next door. But then, look further. The kingdom beyond your neighbor, that one, is your neighbor's enemy. And so, it could be your friend, an ally against your rival. This is the mitra, or friend. And beyond that friend, another rival. The pattern continues outwards, a series of concentric circles: friends, enemies, and neutrals. The Rajamandala is sophisticated. It shows deep geopolitical insight. It encouraged the king to think strategically about foreign affairs, to understand the interests and motives of other rulers. The goal was to maintain balance, to increase one's own power, and to ensure the kingdom's security in a dangerous world. It was about smart diplomacy. Section 8. Order and Justice Law in Kautilya's state. A well-ordered society needs laws. Kautilya understood this deeply. The Arthashastra dedicates much space to legal matters. It outlines a system of justice, covering many aspects of life, from serious crimes to civil disputes. The aim was to maintain order and ensure fairness for all within the structure of society. The laws covered criminal acts, theft, assault, and murder. Punishments were prescribed clearly, often varying by the crime's nature and sometimes by social status. But Kautilya stressed impartiality. Judges were expected to be honest and free from corruption or bias. Evidence was important in trials. Witnesses were questioned carefully. Civil laws were also detailed. These dealt with contracts, property disputes and inheritance, debts and business transactions, marriage and family matters. Kautilya aimed to provide rules that would resolve conflicts and allow society to function smoothly. He even discussed consumer protection and regulations for artisans. The legal system was meant to uphold dharma, or righteousness, but it was also practical, designed to support the state and the king's authority. While providing justice, it also reinforced social hierarchies. However, the emphasis on procedure and evidence was remarkable for such an ancient text. It showed a desire for systematic law. Section 9. Ancient Wisdom, Modern Echoes, the Arthashastra Today. The Arthashastra is ancient, written over 2 millennia ago. Does this old book still hold any meaning for our world? A world of computers and space travel? A world so different from Kautilya's? Surprisingly, many of its ideas still resonate with us. They spark thought and debate about how we govern ourselves. Think about its core themes: the need for good governance, for an efficient administration, for economic stability, for national security. These are timeless challenges. Leaders today still grapple with these very same issues. Kautilya's practical advice on these topics can still be studied and offer some insights. People often compare Kautilya to Machiavelli, the Italian thinker. Machiavelli wrote The Prince about 1800 years after Kautilya. Both wrote about realpolitik, the practical, sometimes harsh realities of power. But Kautilya was much broader. His Arthashastra covered the whole state, not just advice for one prince. It was far more comprehensive. So the wisdom of Kautilya is not just a historical curiosity, it shows that ancient India had incredibly advanced political thought long before similar ideas appeared in other parts of the world. It teaches us that human concerns about power, justice, and order are universal, across time and across cultures. Ancient texts like Arthashastra are treasures of human experience. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more Red Mix Facts adventures. Until next time, keep exploring.